If you're new to Land Rover, there is a key moment that you should know about. It happened in the UK on a sandy beach in Red Wharf Bay. In post-war times in 1947, where two brothers from the Rover company drew a shape in the sand that would change the motoring industry forever. The shape of the Land Rover was drawn, a shape of what we today call the Series I. The Land Rover would prove to be a wanted and needed product, and with 200,000 vehicles built, it was time for an update. The Series II was launched to mark the 10-year anniversary for the first release of Land Rover back in 1948. With the release of the Series II, we saw new design, but the biggest thing that came was the 2.25 petrol engine. This four-cylinder engine would be the foundation of the company's engine builds for years to come. And it wasn't long until we saw the next generation, the Series IIA. It was launched in 1961 and saw a range of changes during its time of production, until the launch of the Series III came in 1971. The Series III is a more modern take on the Series line and saw the introduction of a soft dash interior, fully synchronized gearbox, and even a fresh air heater. So this is what I bought. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, I'm Simon and you're watching Land Rover Drive. It's all about Land Rovers, fixing them, now restoring them, and going on overlanding in Norway trips. So what do we actually have here? How do you identify a series and which series it is? So we have Series 1, Series 2, Series IIA and Series 3, which we went through. But how do I know that this is a Series IIA? And well, for the trained eye, or as a nerd, you will see there are some telltale signs that you can look out for. And I'm going to show you. The best way to check that you're actually looking at the Series IIA is to check the chassis numbers. But we will come back to those later. Let's look at the details. How do you know that this is a Series IIA? Well, look at the headlights. On the IIA, you get the narrow headlights, which comes from the Series 1 and Series 2. But there is a small difference that you can see. The lights are mounted from behind on the panel. On earlier Series 2, you will get the chrome ring, the chrome bezel, which held the light in place from the front. You need to be aware that you can also get a Series IIA which has the lights out on the wings, and that was, I think, late 68 was released due to lights regulation in the US and other countries. So for export, the Land Rover was a big export vehicle. So if you find a vehicle with the lights in the wing, there's one thing that you can double check if it's a Series IIA or if it's a Series 3. That is looking for a metal grille. The Series 3 was launched with a plastic grille, and so that's a big difference that you can look out for. There are also some chassis details that changed, but I won't go into those. You will have to check them out for yourself. I mentioned chassis numbering earlier, and with the Series IIA, Land Rover revealed their new Suffix system. So if you're in doubt, you can see on the chassis numbering that it has a letter at the end. And the best way you can identify your Series 2 is to check the chassis numbers. Also, you can use it to check which components your car is made up of. And that actually makes for a really fun treasure hunt. And it can be really exciting. And it will unveil some good facts about your car. So for me, it's been really fun reading up on the series after I got it. So reading up on the details and also going out to the garage, checking does these details match up, and the chassis numbers is part of that. So join in, let's go hunting for chassis numbers, and then you will see what do we actually got there. Oh, heavy. As you can see, I already started cleaning the car just to make it easier to find the details. Okay, so with all of those bits, we can start looking and go hunting for chassis details. And this is really exciting because it tells so much about the car and its story. Let's go into the cab and see if we can find the plate which shows the chassis number. Okay, so inside the cabin on the 2A, you can find down here on the bulkhead, you find the original plate and vehicle number, and as you can see here, mine starts with 244, which is the important part, and then you can see at the end it has the letter suffix D. So 244 is start and suffix D on the end. So those two things is basically the most important part. So 244, I checked and it's correct for the year, so looking good so far. Okay, so now the most important part, at least for me and the Norwegian rules, is that the chassis number on the car is the same in the registration as the chassis number on the actual chassis. So the chassis number in the car matches with my paperwork, but didn't match up with the chassis. So I bought this car in good faith. I knew the owner. It was Erik's father's pal. So I knew it should be in order, but I haven't checked yet. So let's go and see. I know there's some undercoating, so it's gonna be, yeah. I need to spend some time just cleaning up and then we'll see. Okay, so this will be fairly interesting. Just doing this Scotch Brite or something, what's it called, and then, yeah. To see if I can get it off and then find the number. It should be on the, what's it called, dumb iron down here on the front. On the right hand side, on the outer side, just on top of the dumb iron. So let's see if we can get it. Oh, I see something. Let's see. Oh, yes. Oh, the number match, really good, really good. That's the most important part. Chassis number, match the papers, also match the plate inside. So yeah, that's good. Oh. But as I said, this car was bought in good faith. So yeah, I was pretty sure it's going to be in order, but you never know until you actually checked it yourself. So be sure, if you go and buy a series, you can check the numbers inside the chassis. So super good. So happy with the chassis matching the paperwork and also the plate inside. You can also check the engine, which we are going to do, but first I'm going to check the axles, which is next. And the front one, really easy at the moment, so let's do that first. Okay, I think we can already see it, but I'm going to clean it off. All right. Yep. Okay. Front axle, good. Oh, that's nice. So I clean it up a bit more just to see what the leather was. It looks like on R. So what that tells me, I don't know, but I just know that the three first number here match up, so that's really nice. So with the plate, chassis, front axle, now time for a rear axle. It's gonna be a bit more difficult to check out, but yeah, let's go under. So the chassis number should be on top here, where you see the airing vent. So it should be on top here, if I have read correctly. So, but I need to clean it up and then see if we can find it. Just use the mobile. Nothing. It's all facing backwards, looks like. I don't know if you can see that, but it says it's a 243108337B. So yeah, there's a number there, but it doesn't completely match. It doesn't. Okay, so far, chassis, plate, chassis, front axle, correct. Rear axle, I'm not sure if it's correct because there's some, it's 243 and 244, but maybe it's just because at the time that was the rear axle and I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Now to the next big thing, and that is engine. Let's see. Let's see if that match up. Okay, so on the engine, you can see there's multiple numbers. There are numbers on the top, the cylinder head. In original, we call it just top. And also there's a number on the engine block, which is the casting numbers. So that is not what you're looking for. What you're looking for is the number here. Just below the manifolds on the front here, there should be a chassis number, and this is for the engines for the 2A. And I think it's for the 2 1/4 engine all the way. I'm not sure, but I think I will check that. But for this, it should be here, so let's check it. And remember, the three first numbers need to match up for this to be completely original. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah. It doesn't match up. So in the, remember 244, chassis, front axle, plate, engine says 252, suffix J, 252. Okay, so it's not the original engine, Yeah. Okay, so some thoughts. As I mentioned in the last video, I thought it was a completely original car. But basing on all the bits being here, like all the bits, yeah. I didn't know that the number wouldn't match. But since it's an old car, also a car that's been used properly, I think it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, two reasons. Two reasons for why it's okay. So, first one, a bit of logical. Remember, 244 is the chassis number. This is 252 on the engine, which means this is a later engine, which should be better because there should be some upgrades, I think. Also the suffix is later, so but I will check the engine and see what that means. But yeah, it's a later engine, which is better, should be. That's the logical part. There's another part which is mentally, because if you have a fully matching car, which is great, I would probably have, if I had that, it would be great. I would have loved that. But now this means it's not the original engine. If this engine doesn't work out, I can change it out with another engine. I don't have to make this a super bolt and nut pristine restoration. I can just stick with making it like a patina restoration, using all the original bits that I can, like matching bits, even though it's another later number on the engine, and I can put it back together and I can use this car. If everything was original, matching numbers, everything, I don't think I would have used it when I finished the restoration. It would have been worth too much. Yeah. So that's the mental part. It's good. It's good. We like to use our cars, as you've seen on the channel. We fix them and then we go out and use them for overlanding and even go off-roading. If you haven't seen it, go see our off-road videos. Eric put his 76 Range Rover in the winter, in the summer, difficult terrain. So yeah, we like to use our cars. Yeah, so good. Good to get that out of the way. Now, next number is the gearbox number. So let's go check that out. So gearbox number, let's see. Yep, steel. So here you can see gearbox mounted to the engine, and as you can see, transfer case is further back here. The number should be here, just behind here. So let's clean it off. I think I can see the rear part of the number. Let's see if we can find the rest. So since the engine doesn't match, I'm expecting this not to match as well. So the gearbox here came with the Series IIA, I believe. Same gearbox, 4-speed. On the Series IIA, it's synchronized in 3rd and 4th, not in 1st and 2nd. That came with the Series 3. Let's see. Yeah, so 253, 40, 49, 7, and on the bottom there, you kind of can see an F. So engine 252, this is 253, so even later number. Yeah. I think the Series 3, the number is on the transfer box and it's a different number. I'm not sure, but yeah. Okay. Let's sum this up. Chassis, most important thing is the correct number with the paperwork, and yeah, so that's good. So the car is worth something. If it hasn't been correct, it would be worth something in parts and partly in put together, but if the chassis number wasn't there, it basically is a zero. It's not worth nothing in Norway. Maybe could export it, or yeah. Engine number doesn't match. We went through that. Gearbox, it doesn't match. Maybe it matches up with the engine, since there's a 252 engine then in a 253 gearbox. I have read that things must not match perfectly. If you know more about this than I do, please comment down below. The engine should, in an original car, everything should match up. They don't have to, I believe, but yeah. Yeah. So, gearbox, it will be interesting to see. I don't know the internals, everything, how if there's been done something to the gearbox. I don't think there was synchro mesh in the 2As. Only that came with the more refined Series 3. Yeah. So, but there will be some double clutching action when I can get this running. Okay, so we have looked at the chassis numbers, and that's basically is the bulkhead, plate, chassis, gearbox, engine, and the axles have the chassis number on them. That you can check. For other parts on the car, you have to check the stamped if they have some dates, and I know that you can see on the steering box, you can have, I think you have the casting number, which you can check, and then also on other stuff on the car, you can check the dates on when they were made. So for this, which is I think it's an April 68 car, that means that probably the parts would be made early 68 or late 67. Around there. Okay, so we have established what we got here, and it's a Series IIA. It got the major components that we need, even though it don't have matching numbers, which we figured out is fine. The next part is basically assessing if this is what's the word? Liable? No. If we should restore it or not. And basically it comes down to time, skill, and money. Those three things. For me, I have a bit of time now, so I can start on this restoration. Money-wise, the budget is basically what the patronage is. So I bought this car for my own money, but the patronage, which I haven't used any of since I started it, is going to be the thing that pays for parts that I need and services that I need. The time spent is my free time, so it won't cost anything. Also, for me, the biggest thing is rust. So, and that's one of the reasons why I had a 2000-year Defender. I sold that because there's just too much rust for me to get into. This car has a solid chassis. There are some parts that you maybe should be looked at in some time. The body is good, get some really good dents because it's been a working car. The bulkhead is really nice, got some surface rust. The footwells need looking at after, but that I can do that later. It doesn't need anything right now. So if I just oil that up, it will be fine for some years. Everything around the car is good. The big thing that I don't know is the engine. As I said, it's been standing for 30 years now. They started the restoration, I think 20 years ago. I will go back to that story, but I believe this hasn't been started in 30 years. And that's a long time for an engine to be set. So the biggest thing I will be looking at, and my biggest problem on this car, is going to be the engine. So is it worth restoring this car? I believe so. I think with the time and the skill that I have and the budget that I have, I can get this running by the summer. So that's the goal. If you want to support the project even more, please consider Patreon. Yeah, it will help me out. And yeah, subscribing, that will also help me out. Also, our latter goal is to get it road legal by fall. So before they start salting the roads, it would be fun to get it on the road, get it checked out, and then do one drive before the salt sets in and I need to put it back into the garage, because this is going to be, it's going to be a summer car. I'm not going to use it during the winter unless it's just super winter roads without any salt. Maybe I could trailer it, I will see, borrow a trailer, and then I could trailer it to an off-road area and then we can do some snow driving. We will see, we will see. So as I said, engine being the biggest part and maybe the biggest cost, I think. We will see how that goes down, but that's going to come in a later video. So engine is going to be a separate video or maybe separate videos, depending on how much work it needs. There are some wild cards. The car rolls, so that the differentials on the axles seems to be working. Also, the wheel spins freely, so the brake should be not seized on. There are two things that are wild cards on this car, or yeah, basically is the transmission and the transfer cage. I don't know the condition. Yeah, and the third thing, the clutch. I don't know the condition of any of those. I don't know how much time, how much money, yeah, what needs to be done. But that's also coming later. So the main thing is going to be the engine first and then getting that to run. And then leaving those wild cards until I actually need to look at them. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, a bit of mess in the garage. I started sorting the parts that came with the car. It's all lined here, and figuring out what is missing, what do I need, and what do I need first. So what's next is the engine. I'm going to start on that, getting it to run. But the first thing I think I should do is just to put everything back on the engine. Everything, all the parts that I have, put it on the car, see what I got, and then order the parts that I need. If you have any questions for me about the series or anything else on the channel, be sure to put it down in a comment. I would like to hear your assessments of this series. Is it worth to restore? What would you recommend me do? And yeah, I love getting comments from you and tips. I read every comment. I try to answer them as quickly as possible. And yeah, I think this is going to be really, really fun. Big project, big things. I hope you enjoyed this series so far. And yeah, I really would like it if you subscribe. It helps me out supporting the channel. And yeah, if you want to support this project even more, check out Patreon. Everything there is going to go into this car now. And hopefully by summer it's running. So yeah, thank you for watching. And as always, I will see you in the next one. First.